So today we are making steak shish kebabs. I will be putting these on a charcoal grill. What I did was I used sirloin steak and I am cutting them up in square pieces like so. What I did was I took the steak and I cut it down the middle 4 times and then turn it to the side and cut them like cubes. And you do that with all of your steak until they're all cut up in squares. And also clean your steak before you start. I cleaned my steak really well before I started. This is a fat piece that I cut off. I'm going to save these pieces. My husband likes the fat part off meat, so I'm going to save these to grill for him. But this is the night before, and I am basically preparing and marinating these steak squares that I'm cutting so they can be full of flavor when I put them on the grill. So I'm going to show you how to make the marinade for these steak cubes that I just cut up. It's important to know that you should not use beef steak, beef stew steak or beef stew meat. It's just not as tender as an actual steak, and I prefer sirloin because it's a little bit more tender. But again, don't use beef stew because it's not as tender as anything as the beef sirloin or ribeye, and beef sirloin is the steak is a little bit more affordable, and they go as well with this. Okay, so I have some long pieces. I'm just gonna cut them in half. That's pretty much it. You don't want to season this too much with anything because the marinade is going to give it its seasoning, so I'm just going to sprinkle some pepper over it. I don't like my food tasting salty, so I'm going to make sure not to put any salt in this because I'm using a marinade that I'm about to create and show you. So we're going to set that over to the side. I'm going to show you how to make the marinade. You use soy sauce. I would say about a cup full of soy sauce, and I could have used my measuring cup, but I didn't. But it's about a cup. Worcestershire sauce. Sorry for the lighting. Olive oil. You don't need much, just a little sprinkle. I'm going to use smoky steak seasoning. You can use regular steak seasoning. This is just to give the seasoning a little bit of more flavor than just that soy sauce. Sorry, I just purchased this, so I have to open it. And you can sprinkle about a tablespoon in there, and then you can sprinkle fresh lemon. This is fresh lemon. I've already sliced it. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit in the marinade. Just like that. All right, so I'm bringing that steak back over here. You can stir. Your mixture together. See? Stir that all together. And then we're going to sit these inside. And we're going to let that marinate in that overnight. I say for about 8 hours because I'm going to start grilling early in the morning. It's going to get all those nice juices in there overnight. You want to make sure you cover this. I always say do not cover your meat with foil. You don't want the foil drippings from the aluminum on your meat. I'm going to cover this with a top. Or you can use saran wrap. So we are going to cut the vegetables for the shish kebab. For this shish kebab, I'm going to go ahead and use green peppers and purple onion. I like purple onion because it's more of a sweet onion for me. And also it has that nice color to it. I rinsed off my vegetables before I began. And you see how I like to cut that end off, but I'm going to cut it about that thick. Because you want your cuts that you make in your vegetables to actually fit on your stick and stay. So I'm going to cut it down the middle. Cut it in a T shape. Now that I got my T shape there, I'm just going to cut in the middle of the 4 pieces, but I'm going to do it separately. So that way when I put them on my stick, they'll be big and thick to where they stay. I'm going to do that to all 4 pieces. You want to, if you cut these the night before, which is what I'm doing, the more skinnier ones I'm not going to use. I'm going to put those over to the side. I just really want the big ones. See, this is too skinny, so I'm not going to use that. I'm going to save it for another day. I'm going to cut that a little bit bigger than what I did before. So my squares can be big. Okay, again, I'm going to cut it down the middle in a T shape. And then you see that T shape there? I'm just going to pull one out, cut it down the middle. That way my pieces are big. And again, for the pieces that are at the end, I probably won't use those. I'll just use them for another day. So I'll put those up and seal them real well so they won't go bad. I'm gonna take another piece. Probably not gonna use this little piece. So I'm gonna cut down the middle. Take this other little piece. Cut down the middle. And then I'm gonna cut down the middle. I'm gonna probably make about 8 shish kebabs. So I'm gonna just break these up and we're gonna seal them tight in a sandwich bag and put them in the refrigerator. Now when you cut your vegetables up the night before, you want to make sure that your onion is always by itself. You don't want the juices from the onion getting on your bell pepper. And we're going to cut the bell pepper next, but basically this is how big you want those squares. The purple side, and it gives your shish kebab a little bit of color you're looking for. So we're going to put these over in a sandwich bag. See this one? You see how long that is? That's going to go good on that shish kebab stick. We're going to put these in a sandwich bag. And then we're going to put them on a stick. So I'm going to put that over to the side. Now we're going to cut this bell pepper. And we want to cut the bell pepper the same way. We want the squares to be big enough. I did rinse that bell pepper before I used it. Take this middle part and throw it away. That onion is strong. We gotta put that away. Ooh. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and cut this this bell pepper, excuse me. I'm just gonna cut them up in squares like that because that's how big I want them on the shish kebab stick anyway. We're gonna throw that away. So I'm just cutting them up in squares. Cause I don't like, well, I'll keep it. I don't really care for that white part, but so this is the next day, and this is what they look like. They look really good. So what we're going to do, anytime you use wood kebab sticks, you always want to soak these in water for about 15 minutes so that way it won't burn when you put them on the grill. We have our cut up veggies that we have here. We cut them up last night and we put them in the refrigerator. So that sat overnight, including this. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take a stick, and you can do pointy side down so that way you can, or however you like to angle it, so that way you can get your things on here. So I'm going to start with some vegetables. I put an onion and a bell pepper there. Now I'm going to take a piece of meat. I'm going to put it there. Another onion and bell pepper. And you could do one at a time, that way the whole goes in the center better. Another piece of meat. And last night I said I would cut up the meat if I needed to, which I do need to. It's a little long, so that was a long piece. I'm just going to cut it down the middle. I'm going to re-dip it in this sauce so that way all edges can be seasoned. And I'm going to put that on here. We're going to pick up another veggie, green pepper. I like to put them on there face up. It's your preference, honestly. You can switch it up just so the colors can show. And then I dip that in there. Since I cut it up, I'm dipping it more inside this mix, the marinade. And I'm putting it on there. And I'm gonna put I think my goal for these, I'm not gonna put too many pieces because I don't have a lot of steak pieces. So I'm gonna scoot it up to the top some more. And if you want to stretch your steak pieces, all you have to do is just cut them down the middle. Dip it back in there. Voila. I'm gonna put one more topping on here. And you have a shish kebab. I'm gonna spread them out just a little bit. So they can cook well. And there you have it. So we're gonna make the rest of these kebabs. Okay, so we ended up making 11 shish kebabs. They are all put together. Some of them have 4 or 5 pieces of meat on there because I ran out of vegetables, but they're all put together like that. And then what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take this marinade that we made and I'm going to put it over the top just so it can have some good juices when it goes on that grill still. All right, and then I'm going to sit this also it's not touching the bottoms of the sticks, and it's okay if it touches it, but I just wanted to show you that they're not touching. I'm going to pour some of this liquid out because I don't want it to really touch the bottom of my sticks and then my sticks turn brown when I grill them. So I'm going to pour that out just a little bit like so, just leaving a little bit in there just to give it that taste. I'm going to go ahead and put the top over this and then I'll put it on. Okay, so we have put the shish kebabs on the grill. I'm just going to flip them. I only put a few on there right now because I am trying to smoke these ribs and these turkey legs. So I'm up cooking early. But I'm going to go ahead and flip those kebabs on the grill. I just wanted to show you guys what they look like while on the grill. You see how the bottom of the sticks aren't turning brown? Perfect. We're going to go ahead and close this grill so that way those can finish cooking. This is what these shish kebabs look like after they get off the grill. Yeah, they are so good. Y'all see that flavor in there? It's so much flavor in here. And these are onion and green bell pepper shish kebabs, steak. They are bomb. If y'all like what y'all see, please hit the subscribe button and also the doorbell next to subscribe so y'all can get those notifications. You never know when you need a recipe to cook for dinner. And also like this video. Thank you guys so much.